Am I the asshole for calling my boyfriend an insecure little boy after his repeated jokes that I cheated on the system to get a career that pays more than his? Tim and I met in an English literature class during our junior year of college, and we've been together 10 years since. While he ended up going into IT, I stayed in the liberal arts track and ended up doing nonprofit work after college when I realized I didn't actually want to be a school teacher. Just to say that we always assumed he'd out-earn me by a considerable margin. When he made more, I always insisted we split things evenly to avoid potential resentment down the road. I've had sort of a non-linear career path, but ended up switching to the corporate world. To make a long story short, my liberal arts degree and time doing nonprofit work gave me a lot of skills that enable me to really excel professionally in some more niche areas. I recently started a new job as a consultant, making way more than I'd ever anticipated. When I got the offer, I told Tim that the pay was amazing, but he didn't ask about the actual amount, and I didn't want to be braggy about it, especially since I was fairly sure it was above his current income. Well, we just put in an application for a new place, and in the process of having to submit our pay stub, it became obvious that I make roughly 30% more than he does now. I expected him to think that was cool, since he's a feminist and has always been super supportive of my career. But instead, he started to make increasingly harsh jabs about how I cheated the system to get where I am, that no English literature major makes more than a cybersecurity professional without cheating somehow. His major point is that I got my first job out of nepotism, which set me up to trample more qualified people who didn't have the same advantages. It's true that I got my first post-college job after being referred by a sorority sister, but it was for nonprofit work making $22,000 a year, not exactly at somebody's daddy's firm. He also points out that at my first corporate job, I snagged a big promotion after volunteering to take on starting up the company's diversity, equity, and inclusion program. And I'll admit that were I a white man, it's highly unlikely I would have been able to be the face of the eventually high-profile diversity program. Tim also notes that I was awarded a small college scholarship for being a promising female writer, and no such scholarship existed for male. But all that said, I still don't feel like I cheated the system, and it makes me angry to listen to him joke about it, especially since I grew up blue-collar and worked full-time while going to school, full-time to afford my degree. I reached a breaking point yesterday when he made a crack about how the new woman on his team is an obvious diversity hire. I told him that his jokes about women cheating the system to get ahead aren't funny or guy talk ribbing, as he says. They make him sound like an insecure little boy. He told me I was being a naive Karen, and we haven't really talked since yesterday. Did I go too far?
Am I the asshole for calling my dad's girlfriend his mistress? My mom died of brain aneurysm 2 years ago. She was 39 at that time. She and dad were no longer together before she died because dad had an affair with his work colleague Amanda. They were getting a divorce, but mom died before it was finalized. I was 18 when mom died, and to be honest, I resented my dad because of the heartache he caused my mother, and I blamed him for her death. After mom's funeral, I refused to talk to him until recently he contacted me and we started to reconnect. He and Amanda are still together, and I have started to accept their relationship because I saw how happy my father is with her. Last month, dad informed me that he and Amanda had gotten engaged, and he wanted to let me know first before he shares the news to everyone. I told him I am happy for them. Last week, they had an engagement party where they invited some of our relatives and friends. During the toast, dad said something like, "I just can't wait to marry the perfect woman. I thank God for giving me the love of my life after all those years that I wasted with someone else." I walked out of the room after hearing what my father said. He basically considered his marriage to my late mother a waste of his time. It broke my heart, and I wanted to leave right away. But dad's friend, my godfather, and Amanda followed me. Amanda said that dad wants me to give a message, but I told her I can't do that and I need to go as I feel sick. My godfather tried to convince me to stay and say a few words. I got tired of holding my anger in, and I just said, "I have no good words to say about my cheating father and his mistress. I need to go." Amanda got angry with me and called me an asshole, and I need to get over the past. I didn't even say anything and just left them behind. I was with my boyfriend who picked me up when dad called, and he was very furious with me. Apparently, what I said made Amanda cry, and he's now demanding an apology. He also accused me of ruining his engagement party. I told him I could have made a scene, but I didn't, and there is no way I am apologizing for stating facts. Am I the asshole? Did I overreact and ruin their party? My boyfriend said he understands how I feel, but my grandparents, dad's side, are disappointed with me for overreacting and calling Amanda a mistress.
Am I the asshole for ruining my brother's wedding? My brother Nate is going to get married to his fiancée Emily in a week. I was extremely close to my brother growing up. He's my favorite out of my siblings. However, when he started dating Emily, we kinda grew apart, but we still talk often. Emily, on the other hand, we don't get along at all. She hasn't done anything to me, and I haven't done anything to her. We just don't see eye to eye on things. They're having a child-free wedding, but in Emily's eyes, a child is anyone under 21 years old. I know, damn ass rule. Originally, I wasn't allowed to be there for the ceremony or reception. I told Nate how much it would hurt not to be there for his big day. So, he ended up convincing Emily to let me stay for the ceremony. We had a family dinner earlier this week, and Emily brought up that she would like to have a daycare service for the children of her guest at the wedding. And somehow, she mentioned that she would love me and my boyfriend to look over the kids. My boyfriend and I love children. We're actually studying to become a teacher and a pediatrician. We were on board with it until we heard that we will be watching 40-ish kids for 6 hours and only get paid $50 each. We agreed that we'll do it for $150 each. But Emily insisted on her original offer. And then, Nate got involved, saying he told Emily that we'd be happy to watch the children and it would save them a lot of money and how it's gonna be too late for them to find a different sitter. The more I refused, the angrier Emily got. She proceeded to tell me that I was being greedy, selfish brat, and I should be paying her since she should be giving me a practice for my teaching career. And then, she said that if I don't do this, I'll ruin her wedding and won't be welcome at the ceremony. At this point, the dinner's ruined. My boyfriend's uncomfortable. I'm pissed, and the entire restaurant is staring at our table because Emily's practically screaming, paid for our food, and went home. Now, here's where I may be an asshole. I honestly don't care about babysitting. In fact, I would probably do it for free. My entire family knows about this. That's why they're so mad at me right now. My phone has been blowing up all evening, telling me that I should want to do anything that will make my brother's wedding perfect. And I'm being a childish asshole. Sure, it sucks. I'll probably not be at the wedding, but I'm sick of Emily being a bitch to me. I feel bad for putting Nate in this position, and I hope this doesn't ruin our relationship too much. But it is what it is. I know I'm being kind of childish about it, however, I do not think I'm being an asshole. So, what do you think, guys? Am I the asshole for ruining my brother's wedding and potentially our relationship?
Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend not to eat so much? I know the title sounds bad, but this is a pretty specific situation, so please hear me out. I have been dating a woman and we will call her Ashley for about 3 months. Ashley grew up financially well-off and relatedly privileged. It has been a point of friction in our relationship with her, not understanding or grasping the level of poverty me and my family grew up with. It is also relevant to the story that Ashley is a happier person and is a very vocal advocate for body positivity and will very assertively stand up to anyone fat-shaming herself or others. The other person who is relevant to this story is my grandma, who is 70 years old. My grandmother is a wonderful woman, but she is both very proud and very broke. She likes to have us over for dinner and is an excellent cook, but financially, she can't really afford it. She refuses to take any money from me or anyone else and won't let anyone bring food, saying it's her responsibility to take care of the family. She also takes offense if you turn down the invitation. About a month ago, we had a dinner with her and Ashley liked the food so much, she went back for second and third large portions. This is not how is it done with my family. We all take a single small portion as the leftovers are what my grandmother has to eat for the week. So Ashley taking more meant my grandmother didn't eat for the next couple of days. After the dinner, I explained this to Ashley and she was shocked. I tried bringing my grandmother food but she refused the charity out of pride. My grandmother has invited us to dinner again this weekend. Before we go, I tried to have a discussion with Ashley, reiterating my grandmother's financial situation and asking that she try to only take a small single portion so my grandmother can have food for the week. I said we could go eat again after the meal if she was still hungry. Ashley got very angry at this and said she will not be shamed for her eating. She will not limit her food and that no one other than herself decide when she's had enough food. She also said I was fat shaming her. This whole ordeal has highlighted a lot of incompatibility issues and I don't know if the relationship is going to last. But just want some other opinions of if I am the asshole for asking my girlfriend to limit her eating. A lot of people are asking why I didn't tell my girlfriend before the first meal. To be frank, I didn't think of it. It hadn't occurred to me that someone would go to someone else's house and eat 2 days worth of food in a sitting.